You thinking you might want to 7.3 swap a dent side pickup? Here are some companies that might give you help. First of all, when it comes to installing this, Fordall builds mounts. Crazy, no welding, no fabricating. They bolt right into a highboy. You gotta cut your cross member out a little bit, and you gotta trim a little bit of the pinch weld on the firewall. Other than that, bolt-in operation, super easy, highly recommend. How wiring harness? What do you plan on using to keep the 7.3 running or to even start it? Now, if you're an electrical whiz, you could go through and trace all the wires out, or you can do what I did. I went with No Spark Innovations with their standalone controller. I was able to send my automatic PCM. They sent me back a manual PCM. It ended up having to be rebuilt because the ground soldering for the glow plug control was broke. Either way, I got a new PCM. He tested it, was gonna switch it over to a manual. Highly recommend that. Plan on doing for brakes. A diesel does not create vacuum. Are you going to run a vacuum pump? That's an option. I went with Hydro Boost from Battleborn Brakes. When running a hydraulic clutch on a dent side firewall, they will blow out. They're not meant to take the brace from the clutch pedal. The manual linkage is what they're designed for. So in order to run a hydraulic linkage clutch, you have to get a plate. I went with 460 EFI guys plate here. That braces the firewall. It welds right to the brake pedal mount that goes over your steering column. Highly recommend. DF5 transmission, because it clears the transmission hump. I was able to use my stock highboy, well, not my stock highboy drive shaft, a stock highboy drive shaft. As to fuel, what is your plan there? How are you going to switch your gas tank over to a diesel tank? Now, you could clean it out. You could use the stock tank. I went with an Aero tank fuel tank here. It uses this fill door on the side of the bed. Highly recommend. To fans, the Super Duty fan is going to be really close to your cooling stack, but you can take an OBS fan clutch, and if you really want the cooling and the light weight of the plastic fan, a 6-liter Power Stroke plastic fan will bolt to an OBS fan clutch. You can use that. You can then use your stock radiator, and I modified the upper radiator hose from a 94 7.3 Power Stroke, shortened it down, put a little piece of aluminum pipe in the middle, and then I cut a 460 lower radiator, well, it's actually a 390 lower radiator hose. I cut that to fit, and it works right. To send a sincere thank you to my followers, because this 38R turbo that is on it was given to me by a follower. The mounts, the OBS motor mount brackets that bolt to the block, that was given to me by a follower. And then the drive shaft, a stock highboy drive shaft, was also given to me by a follower. When it comes to transfer case mounts, you can fabricate a deal that goes over the transmission to use your stock NP205 transfer case shifter. I, however, went with a twin stick cable shifter from JB Custom Fab. Those of you who are asking about the tires, they are 9-16 bias ply tires. They're STA Super Lugs on the stock Ford Motor Company 16x7 wheels with era appropriate like 67 to 77 hubcaps. As the interior goes, these are flex steel seats up front, and this is a GMT 800 bench seat in the back. Have a handful of parts from 3D printed Ford parts. These pillar mounts, that's 3D printed Ford parts. The cup holders, the speaker pods in the back, the door pockets, and the visor for your dash, the dash clip. The visor clip mounts up top here. I replaced the plastic knobs right here with billet knobs from Meek Mill Machining, right? Borgson steering shaft is telescoping. It has the U-joints on either end. And then I replaced the bearing on the bottom of the steering column with the DRB Fab bearing that replaces that plastic crap. This one's nice aluminum, has a nice bearing in there. It's going to last a lot longer than that stock piece of shit system. Right now it is naked, but Driftless Diesel out of Wisconsin builds these. It's going to give you the pump, the lines in the engine bay, all for a really good price. Engine specs, this engine is a 2002 7.3 that was freshly gone through and rebuilt out, and it came out of a 99 F350. So unfortunately it's PMR, but I'm not going crazy with a highboy.